Okay, so a lot of you are new to the channel. Let me explain. This is not the typical review format. Typically I script things out a little bit better, and I've got jokes, skits interspliced in there somewhere. But this is going to be a little different because the first Jurassic Park movie is very near and dear to my heart, dear to our childhood. It is to a lot of us. We appreciate that movie on many levels, and I just wanted to sit down and just talk to you guys for a little bit. Okay, so it's been like 20 some years since the last movie came out. This movie's gone through 4 different writers. It's directed by somebody that did a romantic comedy, and that's it. And now they're being given the reins to the next Jurassic Park movie. Ordinarily, I script out to kind of keep myself on track for things like this, so I don't get sidetracked and so I stay on point. This is not one of those cases because I pretty much know exactly what I need to say. It's going to be pretty easy for me to stay on track with this one because what this boils down to is right now in your local theater, Mad Max is still playing. If you have not seen Mad Max yet, you have no business seeing Jurassic World whatsoever. Jurassic World is entertaining. It's not good at all. It's poorly written, very poorly written. Not a whole lot of action going on. The actors do an okay enough job. There are some lines where you kind of roll your eyes at it, but really they're lines that I don't think any decent actor could make work, again because of the writing. So the acting isn't really an issue. It just comes down to, and we'll get to more detail here in a bit, but the writing, I didn't give a flying shit what happened to any of the characters. They are all so beyond stupid that they pretty much have it coming to them. And you know what that sounds like? That sounds like a slasher flick. And really, that's how these people act. They pretty much have the IQ of stupid summer teenagers that just get high and want to bang all the time and then get killed one after another. And I also have to kind of dance around some spoilers. Not that there's a whole lot to spoil in the movie, but there are a couple of things that I think if you don't have any idea that they're going to happen, might have a bigger impact with you. So Jurassic World is about 2 kids that get lost in a theme park full of dinosaurs, and the adults have... that's Jurassic Park. Jurassic World, the new one, is about a couple of kids that get lost in a theme park full of dinosaurs, and the adults have to come and save them. You see the problem here. Not that, you don't necessarily need to have like a stellar setup or a plot to the movie. You just need peril and some kind of reason for the dinosaurs to get out and cause mayhem and destruction. With this, it's just... Okay, before we actually focus on my main issue with the movie, personally, more on the writing, it isn't just that the writing makes the characters stupid, it makes them... it actively hurts the events of the movie itself. Things happen in the movie for the convenience of the movie. How do kids know how to completely, not revamp, but how do these kids know how to soup up a car that hasn't run in 20 years because the script says so? Why would scientists take the most dangerous dinosaurs alive, mix them all into like a genetic cocktail, and put that out in the public because the script says so? It's just full of conveniences. Everything is just way too contrived and convenient for it to be believable. The first movie was full, no matter what, it's kind of a hokey plot no matter what. As much I hate to say it, but it's about what if dinosaurs were brought back to life with science. Even the first movie had questionable science, that the whole getting the DNA from the mosquito thing. I'm willing to let that go, far-fetched things go, if the people in the movie, the characters, are worth rooting for, or I care about, or even believe on some kind of level. I don't necessarily have to relate to them, but they have to be believable. I believed the lawyer, but I didn't like him. And that's what makes everything work. The dinosaurs are really cool to look at, but they're footnotes to the movie. Jurassic World treats the dinosaurs as if they are the stars. Like, literally, they have names. That's not necessarily a good thing. Actually, there is that leads me to the good stuff, but I'll save that because I want to talk about the writing a little bit more. What you've essentially got is, thanks for revving your engine like an idiot. I don't know if that shows up on the camera, but the only character that's not a complete idiot is Chris Pratt's character. And that's not to say that he's particularly smart. He just isn't an idiot. He's the only one with any kind of decent common sense about him. But even still, I struggle to tell you 3 things about his character. He's very stereotypical stock macho. He's sarcastic. Reliable? Okay, reliable. I'll give them that 3. The other characters in the movie, honestly, I'm struggling to remember their names, and that's not a good sign. You've got little kid brother who acts like a little kid. You've got big older brother who is like eagerly anticipating cheating on his girlfriend. So, way to make a likable character. You've got Bryce Dallas Howard's character who the movie tried, it came off like she's supposed to be the bad guy because she works hard at running a park. That's a hard job, especially when the park that you run is filled with dinosaurs. I didn't really get that, why she was supposed to be the frigid bitch when there's nothing wrong with her. She's awkward around kids that she hasn't seen in a long time. So what if she works a lot? I don't get why that's a bad thing. Women that work are not evil. But I mean, okay, so she's a workaholic. But okay, that's it. That's literally her entire character. I can't even remember her name. I don't remember any of the characters' names in this except for Owen, who is Chris Pratt's character, and that's only because they scream it at him a million times. And that's literally it. There's a comic relief technician that kind of helps to run the park. I forgot his name 5 minutes after meeting him. I just kept calling him not Jeff Goldblum because he was pretty much the Jeff Goldblum archetype character. He even had, if you look, Ian Malcolm's book was sitting on his desk. Nice little nod. But it just one last thing about the writing and the characters. I did not anticipate them forcing a romance down my throat. You remember how I mentioned that there's 4 writers for this. It felt like one writer sat down and was writing the script and saying these two, writing a decent romantic couple. Then they went up and went to the bathroom, and then one of the other writers came in and started writing the next scene where they hated each other, and then went up and did something else. Then the next writer came in and wrote them as something else. It was so all over the place. Their chemistry, honestly, Chris Pratt had better chemistry with the dinosaurs than he did with Bryce Dallas Howard's character. They really don't seem to like each other. It's not uncommon to have couples in movies fight and get in arguments and debate with each other and even get super pissed and have them be flirty and romantic with each other in the same movie. That's not uncommon because that's how relationships work a lot of the time. There's a little bit of good with the bad. But when in a movie, when the bad is more believable than the good, when their fighting is more believable than them being romantic, that's not a good sign. There's a screenwriting term for that. It's called bad chemistry. These two have nothing going on with each other. but we're supposed to believe that they're like super in love, and it just comes and goes out of nowhere. It feels like they couldn't decide what to do with it. It's a ball they kept picking up and dropping on and off through the whole movie. Now, the other main issue that I had that broke the movie for me was the new big bad, the new dinosaur that they're toting. The Fuckosaurus Rex. I kept forgetting its actual name, so that's what I'm calling it. Okay, so, the reasoning. Even if you defend this movie up and down, even if you love this movie to death, you cannot look me in the eye and tell me that the reasoning behind the logic behind creating this dinosaur was a good idea. No one can look me in the face and say that this was smart. The characters in this are, again, this just stands to a testament that the characters are complete idiots. What they decide to do is that they're like, oh no, sales are going down, which, by the way, I call bullshit, because when the movie opens, that place is packed. The kids have to like fight their way to the front of the tram that takes them through to the front of the park. That sales were booming. That place was full of people. There was a super long line at the like gyrosphere thing that you see in the trailer. The line like curved all over the place. I don't believe for a second that that place is not doing well. But okay, so maybe the movie can explain to me why are sales supposedly down? Why is this place not turning out as much money as they thought, or as much as they wanted? Well, apparently, according to the movie, it's been 20 years, the park's been open for 20 years, and I quote, kids are sick of dinosaurs now. I couldn't believe it. Like they honestly believe, they honestly expect the audience to believe that little kids would be sick of dinosaurs after 20 years. It's honestly a little insulting that you would think that people are that stupid that they would actually believe that. First of all, a kid that goes to Jurassic World opening day, 20 years later, is now roughly my age. There is a whole new generation of kids to which the park is new to, and hence they want to go, and that gives you money. You literally don't have to do anything to keep making money, because it's always going to be new to somebody. Also, dinosaurs would never get boring to anyone ever. Real life zoos have animals that are not extinct, and they do just fine. They don't need to crossbreed eagles and alligators and show off an eagle-gator exhibit. I don't know why I keep using that example. I said that last night too. But so yeah, it's complete and utter horseshit that would actually be a real thing. But okay, I understand the need for the writers of the movie to want to come up with a new big bad. You can't just keep churning out the T-Rex every time, because it gets old. With no new tricks or anything like that. I get the necessity of having a new big dinosaur. Something bigger than the T-Rex. It's been a while since the first Jurassic Park movie. We have found a lot of dinosaurs between now and then. Lots of dinosaurs that are bigger than the T-Rex. One of them was in the third movie, which I still hold as the worst Jurassic Park movie to date. There are tons of dinosaurs you could have featured in this as being like the new big thing. But what they decided to do was take the DNA from all of them, give it the ability to camouflage itself, and then just mix it up into a big genetic cocktail, and then that's the new attraction. Okay, if you really want to try and sell me like, oh, we need a new like genetic dinosaur to bring in the numbers and make sales, breed like a long neck and a Pachycephalosaurus, and bam, you've got a long neck dinosaur with a dome on its head. There is a new attraction. Breed like the two cutest dinosaurs you possibly can, and be like, oh, look at you. That would work, because guess what? That's what kids like to see, is cute things. There's a whole like dinosaur petting zoo that melted my heart. Be like, oh my god, I'm an adult and I would spend all day in there. But no, of course they go the exact opposite. They're like, oh, we want something with teeth. I'm like, No. So what you essentially have, what this literally is Deep Blue Sea. You know, the movie where scientists gave sharks a brain. That's pretty much what this is. They took a T-Rex, they gave it long arms, which my friend Joy was quick to comment on. The T-Rex's one handicap is his short, shriveled little arms, and you went and you gave him like bodybuilder bicep arms. You added like the DNA of like all these other dinosaurs. I looked it up. There were more dinosaurs in that thing than what they talked about in the movie, but I won't spoil it because that involves a twist later. And then you give it the ability to camouflage itself. You expect people to travel to this dinosaur island, pay probably a lot of money. I mean, there were what looked like frugal people there too, so it probably wasn't, for the super rich. Everyone in the world has the right to view these animals, but you expect people to spend that much money on going to your park, and your new attraction can turn invisible. You don't foresee like a refund situation going on there, because I'd be pissed. But this thing, because it now has a brain, of course, I mean, shock of shocks, it gets out. That's what the movie's about. This thing gets out and it just starts killing people. It just starts killing things for sport, just because it can. And now that is the point where we're back into Jurassic Park 3 territory, where these things are no longer animals. It's just a serial killer. It's just a slasher movie with a dinosaur instead of a killer. And you'd think that would be awesome, except that it has the Jurassic Park title on it, or it's part of the Jurassic Park canon. The first movie, they killed people, wild animals. The T-Rex, if you remember, when it got out, first thing it did was it attacked a car. And then it ate the lawyer, and then it knocked the car off the side of the railing or whatever. If you were in a Jeep or a van or something like that, and like a rhino or that's not actually like an animal. If a rhino or something like that came up to your car, it would probably like butt the car before it reached in and tried to gore you. Like, it's not gonna like actively seek you out. But according to Jurassic World, all dinosaurs are assholes, because as soon as they see people, they just try to kill them. And that was my big issue with the third movie, was that pterodactyls and the Spinosaurus, I mean, of course the raptors have to try and kill you because they're the raptors. Where was I going with that? Even the pterodactyls, the things that eat fish and have never eaten people before because they're in their little aviary thing, break out and just immediately attack people, helicopters even. I don't buy it for a second. I'm starting to get into spoiler territory, so those are my two biggest issues, was just that the main new dinosaur was completely ridiculous and was just a monster. It was basically just Zilla from the Matthew Broderick TriStar Godzilla movie. I mean, no one could manage to shoot it for some stupid reason. It turned invisible and it just killed people because. The main monster and then the writing with all the characters. I could have if it had just been one or the other, I would have enjoyed the movie a lot more. If it was just dumb characters, but the main dinosaurs still acted like dinosaurs, fine. If it was still a serial killer dino, but I actually gave a shit about the characters, I would have been invested. There would have been tension in what was going on. But I didn't. They all honestly deserved exactly what was coming to them. I was almost kind of jonesing for the older brother or the aunt, Bryce Dallas Howard's character, to get killed, because that at least would have taken a risk and there would have been some kind of like emotional impact to it. But there was nothing in the movie. It goes exactly where you think it's going to go from the get-go. There's no surprises. There's no kind of greater theme. There's nothing bigger going on. I mean, for God's sake, Bryce Dallas Howard's character, in case you don't get that that she thinks of the dinosaurs as assets and not animals, they had the same conversation like 3 times. She talks about it with not Jeff Goldblum in the technician's place, with Chris Pratt's character, and then one more time in the helicopter with kind of the new owner of the park. So it's not a good movie. It's not well written, not well directed. Now, here, I don't want that to sound like it's got no merits, because, especially in the third act, it's very entertaining. A movie can be stupid, but still entertaining. Shoot 'em Up's kind of a comedy. It's meant to be stupid on purpose. But there are plenty of just like dumb movies, like Crank. Crank is a perfectly stupid movie, but holy crap, like it's a lot of fun to watch. You enjoy it, it gets your blood going. Jurassic World takes a while for that to start happening, but once it does, especially the Raptors, the whole training thing, I was fully expecting to just jump all over that and rip that to shreds, but honestly I liked that. They treated the Raptors more like animals and less like monsters, and that should have been with all the dinosaurs in the movie. But especially since the Raptors are already intelligent. I really thought I was going to hate that aspect of it. I didn't like the idea of Raptors being like attack dogs. But that's really not what's going on, because they are still wild, and the thing about wild animals is that they're unpredictable. If I almost gave something away. Sorry. I'm not used to having to dance around spoilers like this, at least uncut. Especially the final action scene almost redeems a lot of the dumb stuff that happens in the movie. Almost. Not entirely. But it's just enough of a big spectacle that it almost kind of makes up for everything. A lot of their creativity was put into the action scenes. The ideas behind the action scenes and the execution is really, really, really damn good. And there is one genuinely kind of touching moment between Owen, Chris Pratt's character, and not Jessica Chastain, Bryce Dallas Howard's character. She reminded me a lot of Jessica Chastain in this movie. But there's a really touching moment that they have out in the field with a long neck. That again I won't give away, but with no lines of dialogue whatsoever, they managed to get quite a few things across, and I like that. But is that worth like dishing out $10 to go see what is essentially a creature feature that you could just not that stupid entertaining movies filled with dumb characters don't have their place. There is totally a place for movies like that on the Sci-Fi Channel, because that's essentially what this is. I could get this same level of writing and character execution on like a sci-fi original. The only difference here is that the effects are better, like way better. And that's honestly kind of a depressing thing to say about a Jurassic Park movie. Was it entertaining? Absolutely. Is it a rental? Absolutely. But I think that Jurassic Park kind of deserves better in general than this. Should have gotten a more experienced director. Only have 2 writers. There have been times with 2 writers where you get out some really good stuff, but you notice a trend where anytime there's 3 or more writers, things get really, really convoluted really quickly. And there's no real need for that. It just gets to be a little overkill. Too many ideas, too many cooks. Too many cooks. Except too many writers. So, I mean, you can hate all you want, I don't care. The movie was just too contrived, too convenient. None of the characters were worth rooting for or even believable by any standards. They're all stock, one-note characters. You could honestly sit down and name any of the characters from the first movie, and I could sit there and list out 4 or 5 traits of their character, versus Jurassic World, where I would struggle to remember their names. I'm willing to bet you that if you go on IMDb right now, they probably don't even have last names. Except for the 2 kids. They very clearly, there's a moment where you saw their last names on that thing. The music. The music was really good. They used the original John Williams theme, and then they had Michael, however you say it, Giacchino, the guy that did Lost and Star Trek and all that good stuff. They had him come on, and it was a really good score, actually. and those are big shoes to fill. One last thing, they do pay kind of a nice little tribute to Richard Attenborough, who played John Hammond in the first movie. He passed away not too long ago, and his character has been referenced as having passed away as well. There was a nice little like nod to him. I appreciated that. That was classy. It wasn't like put up in the centerfold. So yeah, all in all, Jurassic World is basically a sci-fi original with actors that you recognize and better effects. Same quality writing, same quality direction. If I know Chris Pratt's built up like a huge following between now and Parks and Rec, and I love him too, I really do. But this is not bottom line, it's a good monster movie. If you want a monster movie, Jurassic World is absolutely worth your time. I still don't know if I recommend $10 to see something that you could just watch on like a sci-fi original. But is it a good monster movie? Yeah, absolutely. But it is a terrible Jurassic Park movie, and that's just kind of depressing. I'll get around to maybe, I saw Ex Machina not too long ago. Maybe I'll do a review of that. But I'll be back next week with one, if not two, reviews, and we'll kind of get back into the groove of things. So that's my thoughts on Jurassic World. Comment away. I'll see you guys later.